Welcome back to Well, That's Interesting, the Now I Want to Hang Out with Both of Them edition. Today is episode 279. New study finds raccoons solve puzzles for the fun of it, and bull sharks form social relationships with specific friends. My friends, I ask, which of these do you use when referring to the plump joy that is the scientifically named Procyon loader? Is it trash panda, masked bandit, dumpster diver or snack snatcher, Zorro or sticky fingers? If you are currently listening somewhere in North America, you know exactly who I am talking about, that being the common raccoon. And there's good reason why this pointy chonk has been christened with many a name, each alluding to some kind of naughty, deviant behavior. Behind that black smear across their eyes is a shockingly high intelligence level that, when combined with their physical capabilities, makes them everything from a successful urban explorer to a German Belästigung. You'll see what I mean in a minute. To put their smarts into perspective, they rank just below primates in cognitive ability, with problem-solving skills comparable to a 3-year-old human child. And once they figure out a solution, like how to open your expensive so-called wildlife-proof garbage can, for example, they retain that memory for at least 3 years. So you might need a new one, or extreme patience. Of course, this kind of behavior and these skills are nothing new, having evolved around the rivers and lake banks of South America where they had to put their forepaws in to find food underwater or buried in mud. This blind fumbling led to the development of some of the most highly specialized paws of the animal world. Paws that look eerily familiar. The Aztecs called the raccoon Mapachtli, which translates roughly to the one who takes everything in his hands. And rightfully so. These hands, if you will, are composed of 5 long, slender fingers, each capped at the top with a nail, and most important of all, one of those fingers is a thumb that's not opposable like ours, but dexterous enough to open windows. Just ask my old neighbor in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, who repeatedly found a family of raccoons in his kitchen. By the way, a group of raccoons is most commonly called a gaze, which is exactly what you're met with if you find them in your kitchen at night. Anyway, back to their fingers, who often leave tracks that look like small, thin human handprints. And like our fingertips, they have a high density of nerve endings, which makes them sensitive enough to identify objects instantly. Unfortunately, though, the relationship with us modern North Americans wasn't always so playful. Raccoon fur is extremely dense, durable, and weather-resistant, but at the same time soft with a thick undercoat which provides excellent insulation. This literally put a target on their backs. So much so that live raccoons were imported to Germany in the 1930s to establish fur farms. But, according to azanimals.com, Karma had other ideas. At some point during World War II, a stray bomb heavily damaged one of these so-called farms, releasing about 24 raccoons who just so happened to be the ancestors of the plague that has populated Germany's forests today, threatening everything from vineyards to local bird populations. They are an invasive Belästigung, or nuisance, in Germany, but here, in the United States, they are much-needed comic relief. My friends, a lot has happened over the past 2 years, but I know for certain my fellow Americans remember this viral headline from December of 2025. Quote, "Raccoon goes on drunken rampage in Virginia liquor store and passes out on bathroom floor," end quote, from NBC News. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about because I could see the look on your face. You are gleefully recalling the infamous photo that immortalized both raccoon genius and naughtiness. I also have it on today's post on the old socials for our international audience, so please take a moment to see yourself in this raccoon, passed out and spread eagle between a trash can and toilet. Now, just to recap this glorious event, our hero fell through the ceiling tiles of a liquor store in Hanover County, Virginia during the week of Black Friday, coincidentally enough. There it shopped, if you will, by taste testing 14 bottles, or $250 worth of merchandise, including scotch, rum, moonshine, peanut butter whiskey, and seasonal eggnog. Animal Control Officer Samantha Martin and her team took the raccoon to a shelter where it was examined, deemed unharmed, and released back into the wild. And yes, Although it fell from a goddamn ceiling, raccoons can survive a 35 to 40-foot drop, thanks to their relatively light weight compared to their surface area, which is just a really nice way of saying the heft is evenly distributed through the body. Yeah. This extremely long intro leads us to the first half of the show. Not only has this break-in showed the world the abilities of the common raccoon, but a new study from the University of British Columbia has as well. In sum, raccoons solve puzzles even without food rewards, suggesting they are driven by curiosity and information seeking. They're more dangerous than previously thought. So, we will meet the Canadian research team hot for trash pandas. We will meet the custom multi-access puzzle boxes that they built to challenge these creatures. We will be amazed at how it really didn't challenge them at all. And we will, of course, look at photos of raccoons breezing through the experiment, being adorable while doing so. And we ourselves will decipher what this all means in terms of animal intelligence and personality. Then after the break, our extraordinary animal extravaganza continues, though with an unlikely hero this time around: bull sharks. According to the International Shark Attack File, of all sharks, it's the bull shark that's considered by many to be the most dangerous shark in the world, and is still the primary suspect for the infamous series of 5 attacks that occurred off the coast of New Jersey in 1916 that resulted in 4 fatalities over a 12-day period, subsequently inspiring the novel-turned-movie Jaws. Yeah. Well, what if I told you this new study may change how we look at them? Over 6 years, a team from the University of Exeter, University of Lancaster, the Fiji Shark Lab, and Benga Adventure Divers observed friend-choosing behavior at the Shark Reef Marine Reserve in Fiji. Oh yes, we will meet this international team. We will dive into their study and learn how in the holy hell you can keep track of 184 bull sharks. We will dissect these results and be in awe of the socially complex lives that they lead. Not to give anything away here, but we too will see ourselves in these 12-foot-long toothy creatures. In the meantime, hi, I'm Jill Chacha, and if this is your first time listening, welcome to the flock, my non-aquatic business goose. To begin, I need to ask you yet another question. My friends, how good are you with the Rubik's Cube? Well, I think I heard the majority of you sigh, and yes, I myself share in your impatient aggravation. Invented in 1974 by the Hungarian professor Erno Rubik, the world's best-selling toy has over 43 quintillion possible configurations, and to be honest, I don't give a single fuck about any one of them. But unlike me, there's an enormous number of people who more than simply play the game. They make it their life's work, even if they're only 9 years old. Here's what I mean. The current world record for a single 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube solve is 2.76 seconds, set by Theodor Zajder of Poland on February 8th, 2026. This record is not only seemingly unfathomable, but it is the first sub-3-second official solve. Theodor is 9 years old and is the undisputed king of what's called speed cubing, a competition defined as a competitive mind sport centered around the rapid solving of various combination puzzles, like the Rubik's Cube. Well, I tip my hat to little Theodor, and I may also give some advice. Do watch your back, because there are about 14 raccoons who just wobbled up to the speed cubing plate, and it turns out their motivation is the same as yours: to solve for the love of solving. Let's get into it. Please join me, will you, during the tumultuous time of May through July of 2020. While most of us were spending our quarantine learning how to bake or solve Rubik's Cubes, University of British Columbia researchers Hannah Griebling and Dr. Sarah Benson Amram were doing something most of us will instantly be jealous of: constructing new ways to test the exploration and exploitation strategies of raccoons. As reported by their study, aptly titled "Raccoons Optimally Forage for Information, Exploration, Exploitation, Trade-offs, and Innovation," the traditional way to see how an animal solves a complex situation is by offering them what's called a multi-axis puzzle box, or a MAB for short. Think of a MAB like the cube from Hellraiser. By solving one of several different solutions, like pulling a knob or pushing a swinging door, an animal can open a side of the box to gain access to the pleasurable treat inside it. The map, though, becomes increasingly challenging as once the animal solves a single solution, that solution is locked by experimenters and can't be used as an access point in the future. In sum, an animal can only get to a sweet, sweet food reward by figuring out a new way in. Hannah and Dr. S go on to say that these types of studies are a wonderful way to investigate how far an animal will go if driven by food. Well, this bold duo wanted to take things a little further. Quote, existing map studies have not yet addressed the possibility that animals will continue to innovate and explore even when they are not required to do so, or that an individual's propensity to explore and innovate may be influenced by the difficulty of the problem that they are trying to solve. In this study, we investigated whether raccoons would innovate solutions on a map even while previously solved solutions remained available, either within a trial when only one food reward was given or on subsequent trials. Furthermore, we asked whether solution difficulty would affect raccoons' propensity to explore and solve novel problems versus exploiting previously solved solutions. End quote. Ooh, my bipedal business goose, this was a simple but radical idea. What if a bunch of puzzle boxes, each with only one tempting treat inside, were left out to see if raccoons continued to explore and open the sides? If so, their behavior would suggest there's more going on under the surface, that there's intrinsic motivation rather than temptation at play here. So, how does one get their hands on a gaze of raccoons to find out? I'm so glad you asked. Join me now, will you, at the United States Department of Agriculture National Wildlife Research Center in Fort Collins, Colorado, a place where 16 adult raccoons, including 8 captive-reared males, 6 captive-reared females, and 2 wild-caught males, call home. Now, that being Hannah and Dr. S just met their new raccoon friends, they needed to get to know them better, specifically focusing on what forbidden treat they could not resist. Every raccoon was given the following. Offered on a paper plate. Okay, are you ready? A marshmallow, a sardine, and a dried prune dipped in, you guessed it, sardine juice. This tasting menu was served 9 times over 3 nights, all to figure out who preferred what, with preference defined as what a raccoon ate first. One of these would act as their single food reward in a puzzle box. And I am absolutely giddy to tell you, all 16 preferred a marshmallow, and I think we would too. I think we would agree on that choice. Anyway, now that we have our amuse-bouche squared away, the team went to work designing puzzle boxes. And for this part of the show, I'm going to have to ask you to drop whatever delicious thing you're holding right now and to pick up your phone. Trust me, this is going to make your day. Please, tap on today's post over at the socials and swipe past the legendary photo of our drunken trespasser. After this, you will find 3 separate photos labeled A, B, and C. In each, you will behold the happiest goddamn raccoon you will ever see, standing on its hind legs and fumbling with a large, clear plexiglass cube. Now, if you look closely, you'll notice that each box has a rectangle on 3 sides. Let's get into it. Photo labeled A showcases the puzzle box whose multi-access points are considered easy. 1 is a door with a knob to pull open, 2, a latch that slides to the side, and 3, a pull-down window. Photo labeled B is the medium difficult box. 1 access point is a latch, shut with a hook, another has a latch that you kind of swing out, and the 3rd opening is a push-up window. And finally, photo labeled C. C is the big one. This is difficult. This consists of 1 access point using a turn knob, another a padlock that is unlocked and has to be picked up out of the latch, so thankfully a raccoon doesn't have to crack the code, but I'm kind of certain they would totally do that if they had to. And finally, a draw-catch latch, which is a lever arm you pull out to loosen the metal catch fastening the door shut. I mean, I would have trouble with this. Now that our puzzles are complete, the trials could begin, and being that raccoons are nocturnal, the games would be held at night, from 8:30 p.m. to 4 the next morning. According to the study, The raccoons were given 5 20-minute trials with a mab per night, for 10 nights, for a total of 50 trials. And of course, the raccoons were allowed to explore the box for the entirety of the 20 minutes, even after they successfully reached the single food reward within the span of one trial. So, after all 16 raccoons were released and all boxes were poked and prodded with teeny fingers, what did the team find? Drumroll, please. Thank you in the back. Y'all, I am sorry, but I need to start with this first because I laughed out loud as I read it. Okay, here we go. From the study, quote, 14 of the 16 raccoons presented with the puzzle box completed the trials at all difficulty levels. One raccoon, a wild-caught male, was removed from trials for not participating, and one raccoon, a captive-reared male, was removed for damaging a mab. End quote. That's great. What the hell did that raccoon do? So, the team was down to 14 raccoons, but still, the following results are remarkable. In the team's press release, published this past March, Hannah summed up the experiment perfectly. Quote, they kept problem solving, even when there was no marshmallow at the end. End quote. Yes, my equally curious business goose, after eating their sugary puff, our heroes continued to examine the map, opening new mechanisms. To Hannah and Dr. S, this was a clear sign of information seeking. And it didn't stop there. The way they went about information seeking was all too relatable. As reported in the release, when the box was easy, the raccoons explored broadly. They went to town trying multiple openings and varied their order. If it was easy, they took more risks. As the task difficulty increased, though, they fell back on a dependable solution that worked for them, i.e. they went for the same access point. But, and big but here, after their go-to, they still explored multiple solutions even at the hardest level, showing curiosity and an openness to flexible problem solving. So, in terms of strategy, raccoons adjusted their choices based on risk. Quote, it's a pattern familiar to anyone ordering at a restaurant, Hannah said in the March press release. Do you order your favorite dish or try something new? If the risk is high, an expensive meal you might not like, you choose the safe option. Raccoons explore when the cost is low and quickly decide to play it safe when the stakes are higher. End quote. So, are you impressed? You should be. Raccoons may be highly opportunistic omnivores that eat almost anything from fruits to nuts, insects, fish, frogs, rodents, bird eggs, and are rotting leftovers. But the first thing that they're after is information, which means they're pretty much unstoppable. And I'm okay with that. After the break, we are leaving the trash piles of North America for the pristine waters of Fiji's Benga Lagoon. Within these waters, in the early morning, you can find up to 8 different species of shark, including the white-tip reef, black-tip reef, gray reef, tawny nurse, the sickle-fin lemon, you know the one, silver tip, the tiger shark, and of course, bull sharks. That sure is a lot of sharks, but I have great news. They want nothing to do with you because their social schedule is jam-packed. A party animal is next. Stay tuned.
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come step into centuries of history that await in Scotland. Castles steeped in legend walk along cobblestone streets. Come share the warmth of stories passed down through generations. This is a place with a past that is fully present today and all yours to explore. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
When you need to build up your team to handle the growing chaos at work, use Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It gives your job post the boost it needs to be seen and helps reach people with the right skills, certifications, and more. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need a hiring hero? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs.
And we're back. We are so back, my friends. I'm going to need you to slip into your finest thong and scuba gear because I just booked us the full Fiji shark dive package over at Benga Adventure Divers, where our day will begin with dropping tuna heads from a suspended bait bin 100 feet offshore on the lookout for tawny nurse sharks, the sicklefin lemon, and silvertip sharks. After mingling for about 15 minutes or so, we'll swim out further to meet up with new friends, including the gray reef and white-tip reef sharks. And just a word about those white tips, by the way. According to the Benga Adventure Divers website, FijiSharkDive.com, quote, white tips have no sense of personal space, so don't get crazy if one swims past your head or between your legs. Our hand feeder will be controlling the action as they hand out yummy pieces of bait. End quote. Yeah, that's right. Even though you look divine in that thong, you are not the snack. So take a deep breath and swim to shore. You'll need the rest because the show actually begins on day 2. Depending on the season, we will head back just offshore and dive either 50 or 82 feet deep for the Sharknado. Or as FijiSharkDive.com puts it, quote, there will be more bull sharks on this dive than your first one. Oh, no joke, end quote. Yeah, they're not kidding. I have a photo of a brief section of this Sharknado over at our socials, and it's very much like looking at the night sky if all the stars were sharks. Now, I could see the expression on most of your faces from here. I think you're thinking, Jill, you finally lost your mind. Well, joke's on you because I lost it ages ago, and it had nothing to do with swimming with sharks, cageless. I've done it before, and I highly recommend it. My dear fellow geographically challenged Americans, not only are we completely safe, but the ecotourism we're engaging in has actually made a difference, an incredible difference. As to why and where we are exactly, please imagine Australia. Thank you. Point to the middle of the East Coast and move your finger several inches diagonally up and to the right. Perfect. There is New Caledonia, an horrendously gorgeous island, so please don't get distracted. Continue moving your finger up and to the right for several more inches. Fantastic. Now, when you reach a rather large circular island, you've reached the main island of Fiji, where off its southern coast is where we are swimming right the fuck now. The Shark Reef Marine Reserve, established in 2004. Since then, the Fiji Department of Fisheries and the village of Nauloa, the traditional owners of the reef, agreed to give up fishing rights here in exchange for a Shark Reef Marine Reserve levy, aka the package I just booked for us. This money is collected by Benga Adventure Divers and distributed monthly to the community and to fund the reef's protection. After 21 plus years, this reserve has blossomed into one of the world's most successful shark conservation projects, and as such, is now a beacon for Hot for Sharks researchers, including Natasha Di Morosi from the University of Exeter, and founder of Fiji Shark Labs, by the way, Professor Darren Croft from Exeter's Center for Research in Animal Behavior, and Dr. David Jacoby from Lancaster University. In 2020, they teamed up with the diving experts of Benga to answer what some may consider crazy questions, like, is the notoriously stereotyped bull shark actually social? Quote, are individuals exhibiting active preferences in social situations? If so, what role do the phenotypic traits of sex, size, and age play in influencing social interactions? End quote. From the team's study titled Rollin' in the Deep, Divers of Rollin' in the Deep, Drivers of Social Preferences and Social Interactions Within a Bull Shark Aggregation in Fiji. Now, it's not as good as pounding the ground for the thunder god, but I will take it. My social business goose. Yes, the team wanted to know what the hell these bull sharks were up to in that Sharknado that we just witnessed. But I could see your new curious expression from here. I believe you said to yourself, that's cute and all, I guess, but how do you even define what's social for a shark? And how do you even keep track of who is who? I saw that Sharknado, it was a goddamn mess. Well, I am so glad you asked. Turns out the team was very much on it and had a plan. Social interactions were divided into two different kinds of observable relationships. The first were called broad-scale associations, and that occurred when two sharks remained within one body length of each other. Now, that doesn't seem like much at first, but unlike white tips, who have no sense of personal space, bull sharks really do, so to see two within just a few feet of each other is rare. The second category was called fine-scale interactions, and like the name suggests, these are behaviors that find bull sharks even closer together. These include situations the team dubbed lead-follow and parallel swim, where in the latter, two sharks play follow the leader and are separated by only a few inches at times, and the former where sharks swim side by side. There's actually a few examples of this over at the old social, so please drop whatever partner you're holding right now and pick up your phone to tap on today's post. In 3 photos, you're going to see a pair of male bull sharks named Big Papa and Sharkbite showcasing these behaviors. And yes, Big Papa and Sharkbite are friends, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. How do we even know that's Big Papa and Sharkbite to begin with? Well, the team had that covered. In an interview with Eleanor Higgs of IFL Science, Natasha Morosi explained, quote, "We identified individuals using 2 complementary methods. First, many sharks can be recognized by distinguishing features, such as scars, deformities, missing or damaged fins, and distinctive coloration patterns. These features allow us to recognize the same individuals repeatedly. For sharks lacking these distinguishing features, we used a small numbered aluminum identification tag. These tags were attached to a short leader wire and placed just below the first dorsal fin. This allowed us to reliably identify those individuals on subsequent dives and ensure we were tracking the same sharks over time." End quote. Well, done and done. And speaking of time, for the next 6 years, I will say that again, the next 6 years, the team collected data on a total of 184 bull sharks during multiple dives per week. So, after identifying all the behaviors and all the pairs and making all the clickety-clack calculations, what did the team find in their statistics? Drumroll, please. Thank you in the back. Let's start with the grand total, shall we? In 6 years, 1,438 broad-scale associations took place between 152 sharks, and 1,719 fine-scale interactions took place between 136 sharks. That is a lot of socializing between not all, but most of the sharks. And it's when we look closer do we see some remarkable details to help explain why. Our 184 sharks fell into 3 age categories: subadult, so not sexually mature just yet, adult, and advanced adult, or post-reproductive age. And they were further divided by male and female sexes. As reported by the University of Exeter's press release, adult sharks formed the vast majority of the social interactions, while the advanced adults and the subadult sharks were generally less socially connected. But that's not a bad thing. They're not being shunned or excluded in the Sharknado. In that release, Natasha went on to explain, quote, "Older individuals have many years of experience honing their skill sets, hunting and mating, and sociality may not be as integral to their survival as it is for an individual in their prime. Subadult sharks, they rarely visit the reserve since they usually occupy near-shore habitats, while juvenile sharks can be found in Fiji's rivers and estuary systems. During these early life stages, there is a need to avoid predation, including the threat posed by adult bull sharks. We do have some bolder subadults at the reserve, and they have established ties with some of the adult sharks. These older individuals may act as facilitators for inclusion within the social network and also may possibly provide pathways for social learning." End quote. So yeah, you heard Natasha. Like us older folks, we ain't got time for this. We know what we're doing, and we're doing it already. And the kids, well, they're all right. They're off protecting their aura, and some of the overachievers are actually hanging out with the adults to learn the ropes early and to get a fin in the door. And there's actually adults willing to teach them. This is all incredible. But this trend I'm about to drop on you that the team picked up, I love this. The study found that both sexes prefer to socialize with females, and I get it. And males really went out of their way to form more... Males really went out of their way to form more partnerships though it was probably out of self-preservation. Quote, "Male bull sharks are physically smaller than females. Thus, one potential benefit they may gain is by being more socially integrated. They are buffered from aggressive confrontations with larger individuals," end quote, Natasha said in the press release. So, if you want to make a friend and protect a male bull shark or any shark in the Shark Reef Marine Reserve, I have great news. You can adopt one. Yeah, over at FijiSharkLab.com, you can choose not only which of the 8 species of shark you want in your pack, but you can choose who you want to associate with. You can pick an actual shark like it's pets.com, but for sharks. Yeah, you could actually sponsor Big Papa and support him. There's also other bull sharks like Anna, Batman, Bumphead, Chunky, Coke, Hustler, Izzy, Long John, Mrs. Jaws, and Nautilus, Topsail, and Trouble. Out of context, this sounds like a very different website, but we're ending it there. Thank you for listening, rating, subscribing, telling your friends about Big Papa and Bumphead and Coke. Start with that, and that you could adopt them, and then tell them at the very end that they're actually sharks. Yeah, that's great. And then tell them about raccoons, those sons of bitches. Just tell them how great raccoons are. And a watery thanks to the folks over at Airwave Media, the podcast network to which WTI belongs. If you love this show, and you do, you love the other podcasts in this family, and please, stay interesting.